Hi, everybody. This is Sabir from Style Pro, and I am about to be joined by the team from Theo and Harris. They are a vintage watch e-tailer, and as soon as they jump in, they're going to give you a breakdown of their brand. We're going to talk a lot about vintage watches, like what to know about a vintage watch, what constitutes a vintage watch, and really get to know the guys. So as soon as they hop in, we'll get this party started. So give me 1 second. Hello, guys.
Hey,
Sabir.
It's the most frustrating thing I've ever
That
done.
took so long. Oh my god.
We got you here. That's awesome. So I'm gonna flip that screen. All right. Welcome to the Google Hangout. Welcome to your Google Hangout.
Right.
Thanks, man.
So I'm actually gonna go to Twitter real quick and blast this out.
So how does this work? Do you know how this works or no?
Yeah, so he's recording us,
Okay.
and then he will take this and then
Upload the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it automatically uploads.
Oh. We upload it right now?
So it's uploading to YouTube.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's live streaming. Like once it's done, it'll actually like be a full upload. So this is pretty much a live show as we go.
Okay.
Cool.
There you go.
So not too much profanity.
No.
All right. So how about you guys introduce yourselves?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Christian. I started up Theo and Harris in October, and that's me.
And I'm Caleb. What's my title?
I don't think you have a title.
Yeah. So right. So I'd probably say most of my work is around reaching out to blogs and publications, and I think really just trying to push Theo and Harris as a brand.
All right, so you're pretty much internal marketing, PR, communications.
Yep.
All right, so obviously the brand name is Theo and Harris, but neither one of you are Theo or Harris. So
Yeah.
What's up with the pseudonym?
the title Theo and Harris, it sounds personal. It's a welcoming kind of title.
Yeah. There's no Theo and Harris, you know, but
Yeah.
Christian and Caleb can't sell watches.
Yeah, it's
but,
not as
Nah,
But
yeah.
Theo and Harris, they can sell watches.
Those guys are
They're
great.
great at
I'll
selling.
say Christian and Caleb sound like two like young brothers. Like, hey, this is Christian, this is Caleb.
Yeah, Christmas card. No, it's Theo and
Yeah.
Harris, two guys that know their stuff, and really, we do. It's not just that's the title. We really do welcome our customers. It's a great environment, and we work really hard to produce that.
So obviously you guys work in vintage watches, but why did you start working in vintage watches? Like, what was the appeal?
Vintage watches, they're cool. They have a history behind them. You can't go to the store today and pick up something that's 32, 34 millimeters. You can't get something that uses acrylic as the crystal or something that shows its history really on your wrist. Vintage watches are something that you have to find and look for. And, we started using a tagline recently that not all of us can make history, but we definitely want you to own a piece of it. And that's something that we believe in and something that we really want to show in starting Theo and Harris.
A really cool example of that is we brought a couple of watches to hang out with, and this one it's a GI Hamilton. So it makes a lot of sense what he just said. So basically, this watch was made by Hamilton and purchased by the United States government, and it was issued to American soldiers. On the back it says March of 1965. So this watch went to Vietnam, basically.
Yeah, that watch has some history behind it.
It went to Vietnam, and we didn't, and you can't say you did. But
Exactly.
the fact
I don't think either one of us is old enough to have.
yeah, but the fact that you can own something that actually did and survive that it's just cool, man. You can't buy it. Yeah, you have to find it.
So obviously you have a bunch of vintage watches. This is your company, but do you remember your first vintage watches?
For sure, yeah, absolutely. My first vintage watch was the watch I'm wearing right now. Actually, it's a 1977 Rolex Datejust, and it has this absolutely just amazing blue dial. It catches the light. It's I could never sell this thing.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of remember mine. I'm wearing it too, but I accidentally. It's a 1960 Seiko 5. It's That's an okay blue dial.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I know. I'd probably sell it. I'm glad to have it though.
Yeah, I mean, right now we have 60, 70 watches at all times, and once you sell 10, you're buying 15. So there's so many coming in and out of inventory that it's kind of cool to know that you have at least one that at the end of the day is yours, and you can kind of go to dinner with it.
So what constitutes a vintage watch? Like, what happens when you're going out to look for them? Are people selling them to you, or are you just searching? What's your process?
Yeah, I mean, first to kind of define vintage. Some people want like an age cutoff. They want to say 1989 and over is not vintage.
Okay.
That to me, I don't really listen to any of that, really, because a vintage watch is something that comes from and represents a different time. You know, to me, a 1917 Rolex is just as vintage as a 1987 Seiko chronograph. You know, in their own right, they're different, totally different watches.
Totally different watches, yeah.
But you can say that this was not made for me. This was made for someone from the 80s or from this 1970s. Yeah, it's just cool.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So to me, it's just from a different time. So that's what vintage is to me, at least.
So outside of like, all right, brand and date, is there anything else you look for to say, okay, this makes this watch vintage? Like, is it limited edition? Is it material?
Yeah. I'd say that brand oftentimes is definitely an afterthought. It's helpful with sort of filtering through things, sort of like looking through the auction sites, looking through and talking to dealers and trying to get watches. But yeah, it's definitely about, what the history behind it. So and the condition. So
yeah, condition is always key. Yeah.
So limited edition is very important. I don't know how, it's exciting.
Yeah, the rarity
is exciting. But I'd say condition is probably the biggest thing. So we have where is it? We have this Invicta chronograph, and Invicta today is an okay brand, but back in the day when this watch was made, it was fantastic. It's one of the better watches that you could have. And in this one, which is Invicta, is traditionally a sports watch, and it's in absolutely impeccable condition. So it's really a very rare, cool watch.
Yeah, oftentimes, dress watches are usually well preserved because the people who bought them saved up, the box, they put them in the sock drawer, and they brought it out for weddings. But dress watches were beaten every day.
And those dress watches are really like a piece of
exactly. This stuff was beaten every day, and the fact that you get lucky that you find someone who actually didn't beat the hell out of his watch, and that's where you kind of find a gem. And it's an accident. I mean, most of these stuff you don't you hope to find them, but you get excited when you do because you don't know you're going to. I mean, I've gone out for days, for weekends, and found nothing. I mean, I can't just order 1,000. It's not like that.
Right. They're not mass anymore. It's like diamond in the rough.
It really is. It's a hunt, man. It's as cliche as it sounds. Every day, it's that.
So, are you guys like you're going to thrift stores? You're going to like pawn shops? What's your search process like?
Yeah, so we do a lot of work. I don't know if we go to pawn shops. That's a good idea, though.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of our work is on online auctions and forums. We go to a lot of just boutiques in general.
Yeah, we have like buy orders out on. I have buy orders in watch shops anywhere from Tennessee, I think, all the way up to upstate New York, Maine. It's totally up in New England. Basically where I call someone up and say, hey, this is my website. My name's Christian. I look for X, Y, and Z. If you come across it, grab it. Yeah. I want it. So that's really where a lot of the watches come from. It's everywhere and anywhere. And you really develop some really good friends because this is something that it's a very kind of geeky and specific thing you do. And when you find someone who shares it, it's like, it's immediate.
Yeah, when I started with, I came on board a little bit later when Theo and Harris started, and on the Instagram he refers to the people who follow him as geeks, and I was like, I thought that was kind of a ridiculous thing to do, and then when I actually started meeting the people who love watches, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Oh,
you could say Rolex. I don't know. Give me a reference.
Reference numbers.
Yeah, it's like there's reference.
And people know those numbers. They're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, there's reference numbers for everything, and you don't have to know them. And especially in our business, you don't really have to, because we're doing dealing more in we're doing affordable watches. Our watches range from $170 up to $2,000 and maybe a little over sometimes. But those very specific reference numbers come into collectors much later in the game. I know them because they're fun for me, and you study the books and you read them, but it's not really for work, at least at Theo and
Right. So you're out there searching for all these watches. Is there like a watch brand or like a limited edition watch that you're still searching to find? Like you have your grail piece that you're like, we need to find this watch if we can get it. Is there like that hunt? Is there your white whale out there pretty much?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I was offered a watch like 2 weeks ago, and it was 1960s or maybe late 50s Tudor oyster prints, but the dial was this honeycomb, so it's basically a cut up, like almost like a waffle,
Okay.
Beautiful, but the dial, you know what patina is? Patina
Yes.
is, yeah. So like this watch, totally caramel, black.
Right.
The sun and the humidity and the exposure has turned it brown. So the Tudor had that, and to find a watch like that with that kind of patina and condition was unbelievable. I put my phone down. I had my dinner, 30 minutes, and I looked back at my phone. It was gone, and I've been talking about that watch since I missed it, and it's killing me still.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a Grail watch. I had preferably one that ticks, tells me time well. I love to run, so really a chronograph, that'd be it's hard when you sell watch. When you're a collector, it's easier because you can really know what you want and you sort of develop this. But working with watches constantly, you almost become desensitized to how really kind of cool they are.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think one of the hardest parts is we have our individual tastes. I mean, you like a certain watch, I like a certain watch, and I know what I like, and I know what I want to have, and I know what my customers want as well. But every day the business gets larger and the customer base grows. So I haven't been to New Zealand, I haven't been to Australia, but we have a hell of a lot of customers over there.
Right.
Well, sometimes it's like, okay, what is it that they want? I've never been there. I don't know anyone from Australia. So how do I find out what it is they want? So that's when the things really start becoming elusive, because you start, going into areas that I'm totally ignorant in. So you're really learning every day as the business gets larger and the appeal expands.
I have a random question for you. So how do you feel about digital watches, but like from early digital watches?
I don't know. I like them.
Yeah, he has the Casio.
I got a, just from running, I guess, I've sort of been exposed to all these strange digital watches. I don't really know too much about the high-end digital,
right?
I guess. I still prefer analog watches because I think they're, cooler, a little bit more old-fashioned. I think they're nostalgic to something that we never really had, which I think is kind of, I don't know. We don't really deal in digital watches because there's less of a market for it, and we don't personally like them as much. But
yeah, I mean, they're cool. I think what we share in common with them is oftentimes, the mechanical prowess of these things is great. I mean, I love the chronograph because, for a bunch of geeky reasons, the Landeron movements, Valjoux movements, all this, high-end stuff. But fundamentally, a lot of this stuff looks cool, really. Like this is a Timex. And it has really great Breguet numerals. It has this gorgeous, burgundy strap, So it's not a high-end watch. And it's really probably just as, I guess, mechanically fit as a Casio. But so it really comes down to look. If the Casio goes well with your outfit, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, who is me to tell you no? I mean, I would wear it. We went fishing last week, and I said, am I really going to, wear a, like an Invicta chronograph? Am I going to wear
This is not the place to wear it.
No, I'm going to wear a really, kick-ass, Casio or Seiko from the 80s or 90s, and it's going to look awesome, So you kind of just go with it,
Right. Because I was on your site and I was digging around and I picked up the Certina watch. I don't know if you guys can see that. But I was doing some more research on the brand, and I was like, they were pegged with inventing pretty much the digital watch in like the 1930s. It's like a digital form of a watch. I was like, if someone found that first watch, it's probably worth like $2 million. It was a different era of digital. It was more like
they were
analog based.
Yeah, a lot of the times they still make them today a little.
You
sometimes
you don't see them as often.
They were making jump hour watches, back in 30s and 40s and 50s and everything. And those were weird because they didn't have no hands. They were just these little, spots. And the hours would jump right through them, and it was super cool, and we kind of missed that. I mean,
cool. Yeah. So I was on your site as well, and I was looking at some of your charity side with Help New York.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Help NY is an initiative that we started at Theo and Harris, and it donates to a few different charities in the New York area, and it helps people to afford food, shelter, medical care, education, and for us, it was the charities that Help NY helps were pretty easy to choose because these are people that we see almost on a daily basis.
Yeah, we're in Manhattan working all the time, working in pleasure, and you just see, you see an impeccable amount of people at disadvantage, all the time. Oftentimes, as crazy as it sounds, I know the people. There's a guy who I've actually become pretty close with. He used to be down in Chinatown. Now he's in Soho. His name's Michael, and every time I see him, I don't like seeing him. I told him I never want to see you again. I want you to be in the apartment. I want you to have food and shelter and everything. And of course, we help him out. We help him out as well as the organizations. So it's a constant reminder to do these things.
Yeah. We didn't want to be another startup that its only goal is financial success. We wanted to help people that most certainly don't have the same opportunities that we've had.
Yeah.
To do it.
Awesome. Yeah, I was like, this is an awesome component because obviously you see brands start up every day. They're making money, they're blowing up, but like often don't give back. So seeing you in your infancy doing this from jump, this is amazing. So I want to thank you guys for that.
Oh, please, man. Absolutely. It's our pleasure.
So jumping back into the watch game though. So I don't know if this is like a weird question, but what are some of the like do's and don'ts of vintage watches? Like what should I be looking for? What care should I be putting into things?
Care, right? Handle them with care. They're most of them, they're very old, really. We say vintage because it's nice, but they're old pieces, and as a whole, they're pretty delicate. So even vintage divers, they look awesome, but most of them probably aren't fit for still diving if they're from the 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't go swimming with them. I mean, the crazy expensive Rolexes, the double red Sea Dwellers, not even double red, just the Sea Dweller, I guess. That you go swimming with, But a lot of this stuff, and we tell you, like, don't. Yeah, it's a diver. It was made for diving, but that's been lost now. It's over. So don't do it.
Yeah, I'd say some other things. Get it serviced probably about once a year.
Yeah. Just check that, not a full service, but some,
Yeah, if it's a couple seconds off or a couple minutes off,
either,
if you buy it from us, you can contact us. We can put you in contact with somebody.
Oh yeah, our service. We don't have like a guarantee as far as 2 years, bring it back and it's free return.
Right.
We don't do that because these are vintage, these are delicate. But we've had several customers that say, hey, I just want to change the crown, on the watch.
Gotcha.
No worry. I mean, no charge even. It's just, hey, it's all good. Send it back. We're a small company. We don't have this huge budget for advertising. So word of mouth to us is the most important. It's gold to us. So when someone needs a service or needs something, send it back. We'll take care of you. And if it's not free, it's going to be the lowest price you could possibly find.
Right. Cool. So before we close out, could you give me some of your best style advice that you've received? Obviously, you work in a stylish era now and in a medium that watches are part of your style advice. So what's up?
I'd style advice. I grew up in a real American suburban stereotype New Jersey town. And ever since middle school, kids have been telling me to not wear loafers and to go for the high tops, high socks, and basketball shorts. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
Sometimes there's something wrong with that.
But in the middle of February.
All I'm saying is I don't want to rock a pair of basketball shorts in the middle of February. I just don't want to do it. Probably the best advice I've gotten was a few years ago, a friend of mine taught me how to taper my jeans and hold them right, and life-changing. Really.
Well, I say that's one of the best things I discovered like years ago, like tapering jeans and tapering pants in general.
Yeah.
That changes the game for anything. So
Sure.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Someone told me to wear tube socks in 8th grade, and I didn't do it. I wasn't very popular, but I didn't. I probably should have for popularity, but I didn't. But best style advice I've ever received, and I'm just thinking about it now. This guy Lapo Elkan, he's a big Italian mogul.
Wait, I love Lapo.
Yeah.
Before we even get, he's like one of my style icons.
Yeah, and if you learn nothing else from him, you have to just understand that it's whatever goes. You know, you want to wear it, wear it. You know, you want to make Fiat Cinquecento and Houndstooth, make it in Houndstooth. You want denim seats in your Ferrari, get denim seats in your Ferrari. You know, he's just a super cool guy, and I've gained a lot of confidence from watching him and my style choices.
That's awesome. So before we leave, any closing remarks about Theo and Harris? Tell us where to find you. Anything we should know? Any events? Any partnerships coming along? Let us know anything.
All right. Yeah, for sure. Nothing's set in stone yet, but we're making some plans to have some boutiques carry our watches. So we're looking to expand into Manhattan, Brooklyn, and even San Francisco, actually. So pretty soon, we might have some carriers. At this point, it's not during a contract. We're trying to figure out the best spots, the spots that are most welcoming, the stores that have products in line with ours, that care about quality and attention and things like that. And if we're not going to be there every day, we want to make sure that our customers who are looking for Theo and Harris wristwatches are treated well. So we're trying to figure out exactly which stores to work in, but we're almost there.
Yeah, and looking at theoandharris.com, we recently put up a page called the community page.
Oh yeah,
and for us starting Theo and Harris, because our names aren't Theo nor Harris, but the focus of the company is closeness with the person who's buying our watch. So we want to build this community. And
there's a map on the community page, and it's just like the world and all the spots we've delivered to. And that map is actually like a week out of date, I think. I haven't put it up. I haven't updated it. But we're about, I think, 90-something watches in now. We've only been open for 3 months, almost 4 months.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so we're growing quickly. We deliver everywhere. A lot of the times we split shipping with the customers to make it better, especially international. I shipped to Singapore 2 weeks ago, and the shipping was like $190, and I split it. I was like, I can't. I mean,
it's crazy.
I want to make it happen, So that's what it's all about,
All right, cool. Yo, guys, thanks so much for coming on. Anything else I need to know about vintage watches before I go?
Buy one.
Yeah, buy one.
Yeah. All right, everybody, go to Theo and Harris. Buy some watches. Buy a watch or two. Father's Day is coming up, so you might be able to find something awesome for your dad, something that might be a grail watch for him. So look for that stuff.
Act quickly. We don't get 2 of these things.
Yeah. So buy one, buy two.
Yeah.
You can find these guys, theoandharris.com. You're at Theo and Harris on Instagram and Twitter.
Yes, sir.
So that's these guys. Thanks once again, and I'm going to wear my watch happily. Everybody wants to see it again. Here it is. It's beautiful.
Man, it's awesome. All right.
It's like it's gorgeous. Thank you guys.
Absolutely, man. Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks, Veer.